What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to my vlog. It's the end of the season. I cannot believe this. We are wrapping up season 1 right now. This is episode 51 coming to you directly. Well, this is actually episode 52. We technically didn't label the midsummer edit as an episode, and so that's why it looks like we only did 51 this year. But this is it. And I thought, what better time than now to answer a few questions you guys had. And one of them was, how has your surfing progressed over the past year? And that's what we're going to dive into today. It's a little different. We're going to go over, I think, maybe like 8 waves over the past year that have been significant in some way, form, fashion, and see together if I have in fact gotten worse or hopefully gotten better. First off, let me start by talking to you a little bit about my surfing professional, competitive career, that type of thing. For those of you that don't know, I was born on the East Coast in a landlocked state, Pennsylvania, and spent my summers on the coast in Bethany Beach, Delaware, learned to surf in Ocean City, Maryland, but it was not until 24 years old that I finally moved to the beach full-time. I moved to Wilmington, North Carolina, and within that first year, started competing in the ESA, the Eastern Surfing Association. And because of my age, I was in the Masters division. By that time, it was the 25 to 34 year bracket. And basically, due to the small number of people surfing in that division, I was constantly surfing in semifinals and into finals super easily, which gave me a lot of confidence that I was a really good surfer. And then fast forward a year later, I ended up with enough points to qualify to surf in the Mid-Atlantic Regionals down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I had some sponsors. I was feeling really good about my competitive surfing. I had a shoe sponsor, clothing sponsor, a surf shop sponsor, an accessory sponsor, one that actually had me sign a contract. I had, potential for payouts based off of advertising and some other things, and really thought that professional surfing was my deal and something I had always wanted my whole life. Even growing up in Pennsylvania, I felt like I wanted to be a competitive professional surfer. It wasn't until that contest that I was extremely humbled, because everyone at that contest was good. In fact, everyone at that contest I felt like was better than me, and I was knocked out in my first heat. But I did not get discouraged. I kept on with it, and in that same year, I left the state twice, once to do the Governor's Cup of Surfing in Folly Beach, South Carolina, and the Chauncey Surfabout in Ocean City, Maryland. Both contests went horribly, and again was knocked out fairly early, and extremely disappointed with my performance, and started thinking, I don't know, maybe professional surfing is not quite for me. But a few years later, having still hung on to the dream, surfing every day as often as I can, I moved to Puerto Rico, ended up in an ASP 4-star event. The ASP is now the WSL, and I felt like I was back on track trying to live my dream as a professional surfer, and did not end up surfing in the contest because I ended up getting one slot out and was an alternate. Still feeling pretty good. There was a big decision to be made, and I moved to California, and within an immediate week or two, I lost my sponsorship and barely hung on to living out here, and ended up waiting tables to keep things going, and was training as often as I could, but just started losing the drive and losing the passion, and kind of felt like surfing was not going to give me the career that I wanted, and was trying to come to terms with that. And it wasn't until fast forward during COVID when I fell in love with vlogging and decided to get a GoPro with my stimulus check, and that's what happened. That we basically just jumped into it like that, and it wasn't for vlogging that I think saved my semi-professional amateur surf career and is turning this into something, and I'm really stoked. So let's jump in right off the bat. We're going to look at the first wave, the very first wave I ever rode as a vlogger from season 1, episode 1. Let's jump into that real quick. So right off the bat, I can tell you how nervous I was. I did not know how this was going to go. I was not comfortable surfing with a GoPro in my mouth. I did not have the mount on my board yet. I drop in on this wave, kind of blow it almost on the takeoff, recover barely, see this oncoming section, try to give it a little tap, and then ba-boom, I'm out. I landed a little bit too far on my heels, came up super stoked, gave the shakas, and basically that was it. From that moment, I knew I wanted to vlog. I was really excited about it, and I knew it was only going to get better from there. We're not really going to dissect that wave a whole heck of a lot. I can tell you right off the bat that, you know, there was some fumbling on the takeoff. It's hard to see what was going on, and that's why we're going to limit, only a couple GoPro clips in here, and then we'll stick to basically land filming. That way you guys can actually see the whole picture of everything. But that was the wave. That was the wave that started this whole year-long journey. This next wave we're going to look at comes from the same session, Season 1, Episode 1, and it's the wave that it really clicked for me, where I got a little turn in, and I do blow it at the end with my, flyaway backwards over the handlebar kick out, and I wish I would have done a closing maneuver, but you know what? To have a clip you can look back on that session and really start to gauge and do things. So that's what we're going to do, is a couple different episodes. We'll be picking the best wave from that and kind of comparing things and seeing how the year progressed. So this is going to be our first example. So let me pull this up. And right off the bat, I'm going to try and fast forward a little to get closer to the wave. Beautiful day out. Really stoked to be out in the water this day. And finally, we see the wave coming. We start to paddle for it. I realize right off the bat, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a left. I kind of have an angle, and I wish I would have taken a straight drop. I almost slid out. I recover. I give it a little backside turn off the top and get to pumping. I see the section walling up, and I should have done it off the top, but instead do the little fly away, over the handle kickback. Once again, shakas because I'm stoked. And a couple different things about this. Like I said, really tough to go from surfing with no GoPro in your mouth to having a GoPro in the mouth, and knowing that it's the only GoPro I have. It's not like I'm sponsored by GoPro or have, an endless supply of sponsored money that I can put into getting more cameras. So I know, like, maybe I just want to kick out and not risk anything crazy knowing that I was in the shore break. But just having that little off the, top little snap really kind of gave me the confidence going, all right, I'm good enough to do this. I'm not a total kook, a little bit of a kook, not a total kook, and it's only going to get better from here. So I think that was a really good start. I will say right again, the takeoff, I wish I would have gone straight in and kind of lifted off my back and kind of used the speed of the wave and kind of set me up for a turn. And that would have ended up giving me that little 2-turn combo before I kicked out of that wave, which would have made it even better. So obviously, even the best wave of this session, I can make a couple comments to specific things on what I would have done different. So up until this point, I've basically only been surfing at beacons during this vlogging career, except for Delaware and New Jersey for the trip, but I didn't include any of those clips because there wasn't anything dramatic that I really wanted to make note of. But we're going to fast forward a little bit to episode 15, and this is my first real session at Swami's, which, as you guys know, if you've been following the vlog this season, I surfed a lot at Swami's over the winter. And this was kind of like my first, get your feet wet with this wave while it's still early season and not super packed winter swell, and kind of figure out the wave, figure out the break. So basically, the thing I really like most about this clip actually is that it's a 3-wave set, and we're going to flip to the camera now. We watch this one chick kind of cruise by, paddle over. We got another set out the back. This dude's just going straight down the line, carving it up, such style. I come over and I look and I see this one behind, and I'm all like, oh my gosh, is it going to come to me? And I'm learning a lot about Swamis and the line, how the wave breaks. I really like the way I turn the opposite wave. I look down the line and I'm like, here we go. I set my line, I drop, I almost blow it on the drop. I kind of come out, give it a couple taps. I'm blown away by the line, just watching it ahead. I do a little cutback around that chick, kind of race towards the inside. And at this point, I'm winded. It's one of my longer waves I've ever had out here. I wipe out. We're actually going to play that clip one more time right from where the wave breaks. So here it comes. Once again, We watch it start to break. I turn the opposite direction. Typically, I turn the other way. I'm really glad I did that. I like the way that worked out. The drop, the whitewash almost pushed me out. As I come around, I think I was kind of sitting back on like my tail a little bit, which kept slowing me down enough to be able to keep myself in the wave. I really like how that turned out. A million things I could have done better, but for my first wave at Swami's that really like set me on fire to know like how good the potential is at Swami's and how good my surfing can get. Surfing a wave like that where I think I'm going to have repetitive sections and predictable lines that will allow me to kind of think ahead to the maneuvers I want to do. And I really, really, really think that kind of changed my like thinking of how I wanted to surf my waves. I'm still on the catch surf, but I'm kind of thinking about it in a way of like, how can I surf this wave not so much like a short boarder, but not so much like a long boarder as well. Again, the takeoff could have been better. The end, I obviously, kind of flew off the board, but all in all, like, not a bad wave for, still minimal amount of time into vlogging and still trying to get used to having that camera in my mouth. The surf was super tiny for a while in between those first two sessions, so I did a lot of boogie boarding. Didn't really have much content like episodes 7, 8, 9, 10, that kind of stuff. There wasn't a lot of like dramatic improvement in my surfing, so this was the first wave since that first session where I noticed like a difference. But what do you guys think? The next big step that took my vlog to the next level was hiring a filmer. I hired Lauren Hartmann first, and the thing that I loved most about filming with a filmer following me on land is that I was actually really going to be able to see my surfing and see how bad or good it is and be able to really critique things. With the GoPro, it's great. You get a nice POV vision, but you don't see everything. So we're going to jump into my first wave. Well, not the first wave, but one of my better waves from that first session with Lauren. This is episode 19. We're at Swami's. I'm out on the catch surf log yet again. And let's jump right into this clip. Check it out. So we can see me kind of dropping in nice and casual. I catch it right at the right spot in the pocket. I wish I would have done another straight drop instead of turning right away. I do like this little click off the top that kind of comes here. And it's hard to tell because she's shooting off a cliff, that was a decent sized wave. But let's kind of start that wave over one more time. So basically, again, right off the bat, I was saying I want to work more on dropping to the bottom of the wave and coming up to hit that lip right away. I did like that I got a little turn, almost blew it by catching the rail, pumping like I have a shortboard yet again. And that's kind of what I was telling you guys. I kind of like to surf no matter what my style or what size my board is. I kind of like to surf it a little bit more like a shortboard, even if it's a longer board. So again, first time being able to watch myself, and I'm thinking, okay, not too bad. 3 total issues I could have found with that wave were, 1, wanting to drop in straight, use the power of the wave to go up and hit the turn. And I think that would have helped that first turn where I went up and kind of tried to turn and caught my rail a little bit and almost completely biffed it and wiped out. Recovered, didn't mind the pumping that much, and that last little foam tap could have been more critical. And those are things that as the season goes on, I'm thinking I've already done the casual tap, let's push it a little bit. So hopefully as this season has gone on, those maneuvers have gotten a little bit more critical. But let's jump into the next wave. And that one is going to be fast forward to now we've hired Kymri. Lauren went on vacation and I hired Kymri Wilt, and she and I linked up for our first session. That was episode 36, and this is one of our first waves, and it's a little bit shaky. I think there was someone walking on the stairs, which causes issues with the camera, especially when you're working with really long lenses. But this wave I really liked as an example because I can definitely critique a lot on it. But having chose the right wave is the reason that I'm picking this one. So let's check this out. So as you can see, the drop, nice hand action, didn't grab the rail, but still wanted to get all the way to the bottom. I need to work on that, which hindered that turn off the top. That second turn was really weak. Right here, I really thought I had it set. I kind of dropped, and I thought I was going to be able to really pump and blow the tail out, but had pushed so hard on my bottom with that 6.8 NSP that I wasn't able, that maneuver just wasn't going to work. I just felt it. But let's watch that wave one more time. You can see right off the bat, no rail grab on the hands when we drop in. Still didn't like that bottom turn, but the top turn was good enough for what had happened. That second turn was just a little bit of like a setup maneuver, and here's where I thought I was going to have that closing maneuver and push too hard on the tail. Ended up not being able to really like get what I wanted and just kicked out, knowing that I don't know what would have happened if I would have tried to like switch directions and really like blast off that top. So a little bit better. Glad to have had that NSP, the 6.8, just to be able to get transition down off the 8.0 onto a smaller board, but something with more volume that's able to keep me paddling good, as well as getting into waves early enough. So on this next wave, we're back out on the 6.8 NSP, and it's a really, really chunky day at Swami's, and I know I had been talking a lot about how I need to work on dropping straight in, setting my line and doing a nice hard bottom turn, but on this day the waves were breaking pretty fast through the inside, and that's kind of where I caught this wave. Probably about head high, maybe a little bit bigger, and thick and throaty, and I drop in and immediately just get my turn and get going on the gas. Let's check this wave and see how this looks. Right off the bat, I will mention, again, something I had been working on a lot was keeping my hands off the rails and on the deck, which I can see from the beginning of the clip. You'll see this. Let's start it now. Boom, got right to going, hit the gas, saw that it was flattening out, tried to do a little rail grab, kept myself in the right spot. I was really happy that I didn't get taken out by the whitewash. And just, this was one of those waves where you're like looking for something to hit. Right here I got caught on the top, and right here knew I had to hit the eject button, that it was going to break and trash me. Let's watch that wave one more time so you can see I got into it good. This rail grab coming up, I wish I would have got that rail pull harder, but I was nervous that I was going to blow the turn and blow this whole wave, so I'm glad I didn't. I don't mind this racing down the line, staying in the right spot. Right here I get bogged up though, and then hit the eject button. This was a wave that really kind of changed my winter because it was a big wave, and I was riding a board that I shouldn't have been riding on that, I feel like, and it was I needed a new board. I needed something a little bit smaller, a little bit more with more maneuverability, and that's what we're going to jump into on this next wave. We're jumping now to episode 41, and in this wave, I catch it, and I'm going to tell you, it softens up right a bit. As I've been telling you, I need to work on getting down the face and working on getting off the top for my turns if the wave presents itself. If it doesn't, obviously you do need to do a little, I don't know, busy work to kind of kill time until the wave kind of, stands up again. So on this wave, let's check it out. It's same concept. Hands off the rails, loving seeing that. And then right into a little bit of a turn to get going, and then the busy, fun stuff starts happening. Now this is on my 5.8 Hague twin fin. Right here, we kind of just fade back into the wave. I see it standing up. I want to do a hook. Right here, boom, and then snap back into a cutback right there, and then blow that turn because I pushed too hard on my back foot. There's no trailer fin on the twin fin, and the board slid out. But let's watch that one more time in full speed. And you'll see, we get into it, we fade back into the pocket, I realize it's going to stand up, I'm looking for a nice critical snap back without the pad that I have on the board yet. I'm happy with that turn, into a nice other little cutty, and then just blew that turn, but overall, I'm pretty happy with that wave. That was one where I really kind of saw my progression had picked up from the beginning of the vlog. I felt like that was a noticeable change significantly, even from that first wave that Lauren filmed in episode, what was that, 19 on the catch surf log to this one. There's a huge difference in my style and my approach, so I'm really happy about that. And now we're going to jump to this next wave from the same session and right into it here. Pumping at the right spot, down to the bottom, nice turn in the back, and then wave fattened out and you kicked out at the right spot. right off the bat, I can say I liked the way that wave looked. I liked the way that, you know, I pumped in the right spot, got myself to the top of the wave, used my momentum going down to harness speed to go through that cutback. And it was another wave where I kind of looked at it and went, okay, I'm kind of feeling it. I'm feeling the vibe. I'm feeling like the energy of the ocean, and we're kind of working together, and, you know, pretty stoked on that one. This is going to be the last wave that we take a look at. It is from 2 weeks after that, episode 43, I believe. And we're back on the 5.8 twin fin Hague. And if you remember that wave that I did that rail grab cutback on that was on the 6.8 NSP, this wave is kind of similar. Same style turn, and let's look and see if I was able in, see, how many episodes was that? Basically like less than 2 months. In 2.5 months, if I've made any change on my rail grab, because they're pretty similar. Let's take a look. So we get into the wave, kind of cut back into the pocket, working for speed, start pumping as we see it starting to stand up right here. I think it's about to barrel. It does not. I go right in there, get a little hand on the rail, snap back in, and not bad. I will say, I wish I would have done a little cutback or something here to kind of finish the wave off to give it an extra little flare. I thought it was going to stand up better on the inside, but I can definitely see a difference in the style on those two waves. The similarity with the cutback coming around like that, getting back into the pocket, not getting taken out by the whitewash. I think that my surfing has progressed. I think I can see a huge difference on that wave and on the two waves prior to that, and I'm pretty psyched, but I would love to know what you guys think. You guys are the ones that run this show. What do you think? Did I get better? Did I get worse? How's that rail grab? What board looks best for me? Is it that 8.0 Catch Surf, the 6.8 NSP? Please don't say the 6.8 NSP. Or the 5.8 Hague Twin Fin? You guys have any other suggestions for other boards that you want to see me get on? This upcoming season, starting next week, June 17th, I'm looking to get into some new shapes and sizes. We got a lot of fun things planned. I can't wait to take you guys along for the ride, and I just got to say thank you. Thank you so much. This has been an absolutely amazing year. Vlogging has absolutely changed my life. I love doing it, and I could not have done this without you guys, and I love doing it for you. I love hearing from you. Make sure that if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon. That way YouTube notifies you of new videos. You can also like these videos and drop a comment in the comment section below. But for now, we're going to take off. I'm going to let you guys get out and find an adventure, and I'll see you guys back here next week for season 2. But in the meantime, click right here to subscribe and right here to watch more videos, and I'll see you all here next week. Yo!